let's just take a couple breaths together. Relax the jaw. Just releasing a little bit of tension. Softening the body and the mind. Welcome. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by. We are here in this community every single day, and thanks for gathering. Thanks for gathering. So, if you're coming by, you probably have been here before. We've been coming together. We're in year 6. We've been coming together every day, having these conversations as a practice in self-love and our relationship with ourselves and life. And it's been so wonderful. And a lot of you, most of you that listen to this have been along riding the wave all these years. So not only do I really want to express my true appreciation for the incredible support and upliftment, but I thank you for being somebody that cares and adds to the beauty of life and shares it and lets your vibration come on out. And I just appreciate that you are a person that cares about things and the connection. January, the format will be changing. I don't expect to continue daily, and I'm not even sure where it's all going to go, but it's been an incredible run. This year, the Book of Awakening is the book that we are taking a look at. Yeah, the first year we did it, we followed the book, the day book, Journey to the Heart by Melody Beattie. And then the second year we did the Mindful Year. That was during the COVID time. That's when COVID hit here, hit everywhere. And that conversation, the Mindful Year, was really powerful during that whole entire year. And I'm going to say help keep us grounded. It was wonderful. The next year, 2021, we went to Living the Law of Attraction, and we talked about vibration and frequencies. And this year, we had a lot of different books. I mean, there were tons and tons and tons of books in that year. Back up to 2020, that the Mindful Year was offered to us by Dr. Seth J. Gillihan and Dr. Arya Campbell Danesh. Yeah, 2021, when we talked about raising our vibration, living the law of attraction, frequencies, there were different books all over the place. So that, too many books to mention. We didn't follow one specific book. 2022, we realized we need self-discipline. Can you even believe we had a conversation for a whole year on self-discipline? That's crazy. We did. We changed the relationship, self-discipline, and realized that it's the ultimate self-love practice, the self-discipline. And that, strengthening that self-discipline is really going to get us where our true hearts desire. We need self-discipline. And that book, the main book, we used a few books for that. We had a few guest speakers that year too. Um, and but Martin Meadows was the main book. I think it was 365 Days of Self-Discipline. Martin Meadows. Uh, there were some triggering things in that book, as you might expect, but it was a good book. And then 2023, we just finished last year, Thriving as an Empath by Dr. Judith Orloff. That was fantastic. Taught us a lot of practices to help nurture and nourish our energy bodies and the impact of protecting ourselves, not to absorb all these whack energies, you know. So that was a very valuable book, very interesting book, pretty mellow conversation last year too. This year, we've got the Book of Awakening. The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And I'm going to put that other music on, The Present Moment on by Chris Collins, to just help us be a little more present here now in our bodies. Sensing the forehead, letting it soften, releasing the jaw, softening the shoulders, and allowing the breath to get a little bit deeper, definitely slower. Nothing forced. When you're ready to breathe in, just breathe in slow and deep through that nostril. And hang out with that breath until you feel like releasing it softly out those lips. Taking a few breaths at your own pace. Feeling the body melt with each exhale. The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. New York Times best-selling book described as having the life you want by being present to the life you have. And the message we're offered today, this day number 2059, is titled Where We've Been. Where we've been. There's a quote here offered to start us off that says, I've been born again and again, and each time I have found something to love. Gordon Parks offered us that quote. Our ability to find something to love and to love again for the first time depends greatly on how we resolve and integrate where we've been before. Let's ground with that. I want to hear it again. Our ability to find something to love and to love again for the first time depends greatly on how we resolve and integrate where we've been before. A great model for us exists in the chambered nautilus, an exquisite shell creature that lives along the ocean floor. The nautilus is a deep sea form of life that inches like a soft man in a hard shell, finding his prayers along the bottom. Over time, it builds a spiral shell, but always lives in the newest chamber. The other chambers, they say, contain a gas or liquid that helps the nautilus control its buoyancy. Even here, a mute lesson in how to use the past. Live in the most recent chamber and use the others to stay afloat. Can we, in this way, can we build strong chambers for our traumas? Not living there, but breaking our past down till it is fluid enough to lose most of its weight. Can we internalize where we've been enough to know that we are no longer living there? Ooh, we're gonna hear that again. So can we build strong chambers for our traumas? Not living there, but breaking our past down till it is fluid enough to lose most of its weight. Can we internalize where we've been? Can we internalize where we've been enough to know that we are no longer living there? When we can, life will seem lighter. It is not by accident that the nautilus turns its slow digestion of the bottom into a body that could float. It tells us that only time can put the past in perspective. And only when the past is behind us and not before us can we be open enough and empty enough to truly feel what is about to happen. Only by living in the freshest chamber of the heart can we love again and again for the first time. So this is powerful. It tells us that only time can put the past in perspective. And only when the past is behind us and not before us can we be open enough and empty enough to truly feel what is about to happen. So this is going to make me go back to yesterday's message for a second here, because we talked about our stories yesterday. And while on these stories, was it? Yeah, yesterday's message was about telling these stories in order to heal. A lot of these are stories. Some of the events of our lives are pretty traumatic, and they're like, they are shock. They shock us, and So that's why we're saying it, because it's almost like to make sense of it. We're trying to make sense of it. However, if we do too much of that, the energy changes on that. And then we start to tell ourselves a story and we get attached to that story. And usually that story is embellished over time and we start hearing what he did to me and all this stuff. And that is not a healthy healing practice to continue with that story. So I'm glad this brought this up today because I wanted to go back to that yesterday because it talks about yesterday was talking about telling our stories. And so this gives us another opportunity to revisit that. Some of these traumatic events, all different levels, from this kind of traumatic to that kind of traumatic. But they're hard to make sense of. And so we keep it before us. I know I was honestly stuck there for years. We're going back sometime now because I've been practicing like a good little girl here. I've been very diligent in my practice and I've come a long way and love it. I love my practice now. But it tells us that only time can put the past in perspective. And only when the past is behind us and not before us, we bring it right here. If we don't bring it right here, then we can put it back there. Only when the past is behind us and not before us can we be open enough and empty enough to truly feel what is about to happen. Being in this present moment, open to our divine guidance. Only by living in the freshest chamber of the heart can we love again and again for the first time. The meditative exercise that we are offered for today asks us to center ourselves. Center yourself and close your eyes. Center yourself and close your eyes. And imagine the passages that have brought you to who you are. Inhale evenly and see which passage holds the most feeling. Breathe. Might be powerful. Breathe. Breathe steadily and ask yourself, is the past living in me, or am I living in this passage of the past? Do nothing today. Simply be with what your heart answers. And then tomorrow, share the feeling with a friend. Imagine the passages that have brought you to who you are. Inhale evenly Keep your eyes closed and see which passage holds the most feeling. Beautiful. Is the past living in me? Or am I living in this passage of the past? It's an interesting meditation today. Meditative exercise. Think of it. Thanks so much for being here. See you guys tomorrow. Namaste.